got to live with my Jesus. Lord have mercy. Lord, it be rain. Wait a minute, oh, don't rush me. Let me say this.
Hey, with the sun, this morning going to take on back in the SDUs. I want to be grand. Our time stands at 8:30. We'll switch over to Studio B and go on to our brother Michael Singing Jenkins. Good morning to you, Michael Jenkins.
Michael Singing Jenkins. You know what, though? I told you, there's people in my family that do sing. I mean, my family is a singing family. My great-grandfather, Rufus Jenkins, was a singer and a preacher. His son, George Spike Jenkins, was a singer, not a preacher, though. And then my aunts all sang. They had their own singing groups, and they recorded and everything. So my wife says I can sing. She hears me singing around the house. She says, you know what, Michael, a little bit of work, and you could be a singer. Because it is in my blood.
Right.
So, but I don't think I'm a good singer. Anyway, I guess the top story is last night, Xavier Legette took exception to some things that were going on out there on the football field with some guy with my last name, Jenkins. And they got into some fisticuffs. And it was pretty intense there for a minute. Zay being a country boy, I don't know about the other kid, but Zay was getting his in. And not only was he getting his in, but I was watching him, and the thing about country boys fighting is what they want to do is get you on the ground, okay? That's the main goal. When I grew up down here, and when I went to New York, I was having to fight every day, obviously, because, I was new, and my brother had a bunch of cats lined up for me to fight when I first got there. So, I fought, but the thing about it is that they didn't realize those guys, they got out there and started putting their hands up like that we were going to be boxing. We weren't going to be boxing. You were going to get grabbed by me. You were going to go on the ground, and I was going to get the best of you. But they didn't expect that. They expected me to be out there dancing with them. We don't dance down here. This ain't a dance thing. It's a fight thing. And you get somebody, you get them on the ground, and that's when you maul them. And I think that Zay was kind of going for that last night, even though he was throwing some pretty good blows in there. I mean, really, I was really impressed with the level of punches he was throwing. But I hope everything is okay. I hope he didn't hurt himself. He was ejected from the game, and both were ejected from the game. So that was a little bit of disappointment. I didn't get to see him play. Let's come, it's getting in the way here. But I also want to mention that Daryl Kelly, DJ Kelly, the head basketball coach at Marion High School, is now the athletic director too. So it's rare when you have a basketball coach that's an athletic director. It's usually reserved for football guys. Mark Gerald was one of the ones who was an athletic director and head basketball coach. So DJ is following in unfamiliar territory around here anyway. So, but congratulations to him. I think it's a great hire. I know he'll do well. And the program will benefit, from the things that he brings to the table. He's a good kid. He's a Marion High School guy. You know, it's kind of weird because DJ is not from Marion. And y'all all, I think pretty much y'all all know that. But this guy's got love for Marion. That's crazy. I mean, it's like he's a Marion guy. And you might not remember several years ago I brought him on, and he said that the Marion job was his dream job. Good morning, Mr. Loris Williams. How are you? And next thing you know, he had the job. And then, you know, a couple of years later, now he's the athletic director. It's a big job. It's important what those guys do. I'm going to find out all that they do at some point when I get to chat with DJ. But it's a big job. Very important job for the school and the program across the board. So, congratulations, DJ Kelly. You know, I was thinking, looking at the rankings, right? And this is really, really something. I mean, I'm pretty excited right now about what's going to happen this year in high school football in South Carolina. But first, let me read you the rankings, and then I'll take a closer look at the individual teams, the highest ranked teams, say the number 1 and the number 2. And we'll see what they did last year and all that. But with that said, we're going to start out with the overall number 1 team in the state and the Division I 5A number 1 as well. And that would be Dutch Fork. Dutch Fork is followed by Somerville and then Spartanburg. They are followed by Sumter. Dormant is ranked number 5. River Bluff is ranked number 6. James Island is the 7th ranked team. Ridgeview comes in at number 8. Ashley Ridge is 9. And J.L. Mann is the 10th ranked Class 5A Division I team this year. Excuse me. Let's take a closer look here at the number 1 and the number 2. Okay. Last year, Dutch Fork finished at 13-0, and they were the state champs. As I said, the overall number 1. Somerville was beaten by Dutch Fork, and they were 13-1. So the only loss that they had last year was to Dutch Fork. Let's go to the next division, which is Division 2. Division 2, 5A. Gaffney is top ranked, followed by Northwestern. And I'll tell you why that's significant in a minute. Northwestern is number 2. Irmo is number 3. West Florence comes in at number 4. Then you have Greenwood, Berkeley, T.L. Hanna, Hillcrest, Catawba Ridge, and White Knoll round out the top 10. Looking at the 5A Division 2, Gaffney is ranked number 1, followed by Northwestern. But guess what? Northwestern is the overall number 2 in the state across all classifications. Northwestern was 14-0 last year and won the state championship. Guess who they beat? I'll wait. Gaffney. So here they are again in a new year, and they are expected to be battling once again. Gaffney finished last year at 10-2. Now let's go to 4A. 4A. And that's where South Florence is top of the heap. They are ranked number 1. They are followed by South Point. West Side is number 3. Hartsville Red Fox is coming in at 4. North Augusta 5. Daniel is 6. Bluffton is 7. AC Flores 8. Camden is 9. Wren is 10. Why they got 15? Why they got 15 teams here? Anyway, whatever. So this is the top 15. Then you got Wren, Seneca, Greer, Hilton Head, Gilbert, and May River. Now, let's take a look at the 4As. In the 4As, South Florence is ranked number 1. South Point is number 2. South Florence finished at 12-3 last year. and they lost in the state championship game, a game that I felt they should have won. I think they beat. I think they got beat by Westwood. Now Westwood is ranked number 3 this year, so they're still in the hunt as well. South Point was 11-3 last year. South Florence 12-3 in 4A. Now we go down to 3A, where the Dillon Wildcats live. And, okay, so Dillon is ranked number 1 in Class 3A. And they are followed by Mountain View Prep at number 2. Oceanside Collegiate is number 3. Loris Lions, number 4. Belton Honeypath, I believe they won. Did they win state last year? Anyway, they were number 5. Woodruff is number 6. Newberry is 7. Powdersville is 8. Christchurch is 9. Aner is 10. Orangeburg Wilkerson is 11. Followed by Hanahan, Swansea, St. Joseph's. Oh, they got Swansea there twice. I don't know. But anyway, that's basically the Class 3A. Now, Dillon finished at 10-3 last year. And Mountain View finished at 12-1 last year. So, let's see. Now, get this, folks. That was only Mountain View's first season of playing. And them Jokers only lost 1 game last year. And now they're one of the favorites to win state. I'd watch these guys. But Dillon, from what I understand, speaking with some Dillon folk, they are going to be okay. Let's look at the Class 2A. Class 2A is right here. Okay. Batesburg-Leesville tops the top 15. They finished last year at 12-1. Clinton, who is ranked number 2, finished at 12-2. So we have Clinton at 2, Fairfield Central, Manning. It's good to see Manning ranked high this year. Philip Simmons, Central, Saluda, Cheraw, Hampton County is number 9. Then followed by Timberland. Oh, wow. You know, this is interesting because Hampton County, Timberland, and Woodland all around the same area. They all are in the mix here. So that means it's going to be some good football in the Low Country this year. So after Woodland, you have Strom Thurmond. Then you have Chester, Chesney, and East Clarendon. Okay? That's your top 15 for Class 2A. And now Class Single A. Class Single A. Let's see. Well, this is where Abbeville lives. And Abbeville is ranked number 1. They are the defending state champs in Class A. They beat Louisville last year in the state finals. Louisville is ranked number 2, and they're 12-2. As I said, Abbeville was 13-1. But Abbeville is ranked number 1, followed by their runner-up from last year, Louisville, at 2. Then Cross, again, folks. Cross is another one of those teams down in the Low Country area there, Orangeburg County, Berkeley County, that are obviously good, are expected to have some good football this year. So there's Cross at number 3. You have Bamberg Earhart at 4. Latta Vikings at number 5. They're ranked ahead of Lakeview. That should be a nice little topic of conversation at the local grocery store. When Latta and Lakeview people meet, and Latta folks can say, "We're ranked higher than you." And Lakeview will say, folks will say, "We're still Lakeview. And in the end, we're going to win." And you remember the little thing they had like this year in baseball, where Latta could have eliminated Lakeview from going to state, and they won the first game, but then Lakeview came back to beat them and punched their ticket. So there's a rivalry there. I don't know how tough the rivalry is. I don't know how heated it is, because Lakeview kind of just, they don't really care, because they know who they are. They've proven who they were. Latta, in terms of football, is kind of like an upstart now, so to speak. Lakeview has dominated in baseball for years. They're not worried about things down there. The swamp, the folks in the swamp, they know what they're doing. They know what this is, and everybody else does too. Good morning, Latron White. Good morning, Miss Cammie Brown. How you doing today, ma'am? After Lakeview, Johnsonville, ranked number 7. Hunter Kennard Tyler is 8, followed by Lamar, Blackville Hilda, Branchville, Baptist Hill, Hannah Pamplico is 13, Dixie is 14, and Carvers Bay is the 15th ranked team in the state in Class Single A. Now, I was looking at Mullins and Marion and trying to get an idea of where they are. I did get to see Marion practice this week a little bit, for whatever it's worth. I'm not really a practice guy. I really don't like to watch practices of anything. I mean, football or basketball, to tell you the truth. But I wanted to get out there and see what I could see. And what I saw was Marion's got a bunch of talented young players out there. A lot of physically gifted looking players out there. There's a couple of kids that really impressed me. I don't really know them like that right now, but I will get to know them in the coming weeks. And Marion should be okay. I was impressed. And I did get to see them a little bit during their scrimmage last Thursday. But it wasn't good for Marion last year. And I'm going to tell you just how good it was not for them. Marion finished with a record of 1-9 last year. Okay? 0-6 in the region, which means there was no playoff future for them. They had major struggles. And I want to take a look here to see just how much struggling they did. They did quite a bit. Yes, indeed. Okay. So it didn't. The season didn't start very well for Marion last year, obviously, because they went to Lakeview, and I went down to this game, and they got beat 42-0. Okay, that's not a good way to start the season. The next game was against Latta, and I did go to this game. Tough physical game. Turns out it was Marion's only win of the season. They beat Latta 8-7. And for some reason, they decided to take on some real toughies after that on their schedule. They decided that they wanted to play West Florence. That wasn't a good idea. West Florence 47, Marion nothing. For some reason, they keep wanting to play Dillon, too. Not a good idea right now. Certainly not last year. Dillon 48, Marion 7. Kingstree is a conference foe, so they didn't have a choice playing these guys, and it ended equally as bad as the previous three or so games. Kingstree 52, Marion 16. And of course, the in-county rivalry with Mullins was played, and Mullins handled Marion 20-6. They then went to Atlantic Collegiate Academy. They did play against them 27-0. They played Lake City 41-0. They played Manning 38-13. And they finished off their season with a 42-22 loss to East Clarendon. So it's not been good last year. Mullins had a much better time of it. Oh, and I thought you'd find this interesting too. Let's see. So 3 and 3 and 1. Did I write that down? Maybe I didn't. Anyway, Marion rankings this year. They're ranked number 24 in 2A. They're ranked number 161 statewide. And they're ranked number 8,318 nationally. Mullins. Now, this kind of surprised me a little bit that Marion will be ranked 10 spots higher than Mullins in a preseason poll. But Mullins is ranked number 34 in Class 2A. They're ranked number 211 statewide. And they're ranked number 11,528 nationally. Mullins finished the season last year at 7 and 4, 3 and 3, which was good enough for 5th place in the conference, which got them in the playoff. They lost in the first round to Philip Simmons by a score of 45-12. But overall, this was the kind of season that can springboard a team into bigger and better. Now, and I also believe that their coach, Coach Lowry, may have lit something under the Mullins football thing. And they seem to be much more enthusiastic last year. The fans seemed very excited and very interested last year. I think that translates into them having an even better season this year. Now, how did Mullins start last year? They started out against Hemingway. They beat them 48-0, but of course, that's not really a barometer because Hemingway's terrible. The win over Lakeview was a little bit more impressive because, you beat Lakeview, even if it's 22-21, a 1-point game, you've done something. Because Lakeview has a real program and they have championship medal. And if you can beat them at any time, then you're good. And that bodes well for your program going forward. Jeremy Oxendine, good morning. Welcome. So, after they beat Lakeview, they then beat Green Sea. And I did go to this game. I don't know that I'll do it again. That ride down there is just ridiculous. What highway is that Tater, what highway is that goes to Green Sea?
9.
Oh, boy. I hate that road.
Yeah.
Oh, that road is so scary.
Mm-hmm, it is.
And especially at night.
Yeah.
Number 9. Whew. So if they, I'm not going right down to Green Sea. Anyway, except unless in the daytime. Latta in Mullins, and there was a 6-0 win there by Mullins. So Mullins 1, 2, 3, 4. They won their first 6 games of the year. They even beat Atlantic Collegiate Academy 44-18 before taking on Marion. Now after the Marion game, they kind of hit a bump in the road a little bit. They played Lake City and they lost to them 49-14. Manning, they didn't fare much better, 33-6. Well, I felt my pocket just now and it felt like I had some money. I knew that was crazy because I never have no money. See, so Manning, 33-6 to Manning. East Clarendon, they got them in overtime, 24-18. That was a big win for them. Before dropping the Kingstree game, 52-12. And then they played in the playoff, the 1-game playoff down at Philip Simmons Academy. Philip Simmons is a place where quite a few Marion seasons have gone to die over the last couple of years. Girls basketball, football, whatever. It's not a good thing to have to go down there to play those folks, because those academies are really, really good. Now, so the NFL season has begun. Preseason has started. You always know when it's football season in the South because all you have to do is look at the cornfield. And the cornfield tells you that it's football season. When they start cutting the corn, you know football is close by. It's here. Now, someone said, I wanted to see this. I had a schedule here that I wanted to see, but I guess it'll be quite a task for me to find it at this point. But, so, the Panthers, I'm not a big Panther fan, but because Zay is there, how can I not root for him? I'm going to root for him a little bit. I'm predicting a Super Bowl of Jalen Hurts and Philadelphia Eagles versus the Blackbirds from Baltimore, the Ravens, and Lamar Jackson. Now, Lamar Jackson is my favorite player in professional football. He is my Steph Curry. Steph Curry is basketball, or Lamar Jackson is football. And I think one of the reasons that I love Lamar Jackson so much, first of all, he's really good. And second of all, it was the way he was handled coming out of college. Kind of like Deion's son is being handled now, which that's another topic that, is a sore spot for me. Shedeur Sanders. Of course, he's a spoiled brat. Of course, his dad gave him everything he wanted. Of course, he's a brat. But that don't mean he can't play. And that doesn't mean that he has to be humiliated by the establishment because he doesn't play by their script. Now, granted, the kid's a little wild. He's not wanting for anything. So because of that, he's got a different mindset. Wow, my granddaughter, Chrisley. Good morning, honey. But they treated this kid in a fashion that I wasn't really fond of. Now, you know this boy was no 5th round draft choice talent. You know this. Yet there he was getting drafted in the 5th round. The Cleveland team, who, when you look at their quarterback depth chart, they got Joe Flacco up there. Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco should have retired 10 years ago. The man is a cadaver, okay? He can't get out of the way of a locomotive. And I like Joe Flacco. But you're going to come into the season with this guy as your starting quarterback when you got kids like Shedeur and those other kids, Brock, somebody else that they have there. You're going to put Flacco as your number one guy? Oh. You know what, Latron? That could happen. Wouldn't that be something, too? I wouldn't be mad at him. I'd be cheering to see Miss Dolores Williams' grandson in the Super Bowl. I would have no problem with that. But back to the Browns, Flacco is done. What I saw last night of this kid, I'm very excited with what he did last night. I think he might have beat back a lot of his critics with the way he performed last night. The kid's smooth. So, I don't know. But as far as Buffalo goes, Buffalo is really good. And like you said, TJ Sanders is on there now. It'll be a little bit hard to root against them. I just want one for Lamar Jackson so bad because I want to get people off his case. Now I got 1 minute. I'm going to talk about the NBA real quick. When is LeBron going to retire? He needs to retire now. What do y'all think? Yes, he can still play, but he's a drama queen, and he's always got something going on. He's always putting himself in front of the camera. He's annoying. I'm too sick of this guy, but I've been sick of him for a long time. Y'all are only getting sick of him now, okay? But everything I said about this dude was true. He's narcissistic. It's all about him. Reminds me of somebody I know who occupies the White House. But anyway, that's another topic for another day. And it's time for me to go. I'll be back next week with Pamela Owens. Where have you been, ma'am? Good morning to you. LaTron says, yeah, okay. He says Buffalo and them. Anyway, folks, that's all I got. Be back next week with more. Peace.
You're up, Mike.